Good evening. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about some paranormal research gear. Let me tell you, the most impressive gear you can use is your eyes, ears, and brain. And they cost you nothing extra. But some good ideas for other equipment that isn't particularly pricey. Dust masks. Many sites are going to be dirty, dusty, possibly mold, black mold, maybe even asbestos. If there's asbestos or you suspect asbestos, I would suggest avoiding the place. The paper dust masks that you can buy in the hardware store won't do anything for you in the case of asbestos. Okay, some minor gizmos you can get on the cheap. A flashlight, of course. This one is the Cree QR5. Cree QR5. You can pull this up and down to adjust the beam. It's rather bright. One AA battery. Here's a brand new one. They're about $5 or $6 each, depending on where you buy them. I suggest eBay. Buy 4 or 5 at a time. They're always good to have one AA battery. Now, this, on the other hand, is the Solar Force L2. Uses 2 very large, what I call AA batteries on steroids. And normally this is a very bright flashlight. But we changed the element inside so that it now is an infrared flashlight. So that when we use a full spectrum camera, we can shoot in complete darkness. This is another handy gadget. I'm going to move out of the way so you can see what it does. Essentially, it's a grid laser, a laser grid, and it's adjustable. As you can see, quite nice. Anything going in between the camera and this should show up in that grid. So another handy item. These are under $20 with a tripod. Pretty crummy tripod, but a tripod. And last but not least, we'll just take a look at something silly. You've probably seen the Ovilus and spirit boxes and so on and so forth. This is my phone. You can get similar devices or similar apps to those devices that go through and chop up snippets and supposedly answer your questions by the spirits manipulating the radio waves. So here's the Sono X10 Spirit Box. It's a free app in the Google Play Store. I believe you can get it also for iOS, for your iPhone and so forth. So let's ask a silly question. I'll show you what it looks like too in a second, once it loads up. So, see, you got a little display here, and you ask a question and push that little button at the bottom. So let's see what we get. What is your name? It sounded like name, which is pretty funny, right? And now we're going to talk about audio recording systems. When you are trying to capture EVPs, something like this will come in quite handy. This is the Tascam DR22WL, a very nice system with XY mic capsules. They're about $150 in most places, though if you go on eBay you can pick this up probably for about $90, $99. Another alternative to that is take an old cell phone and use it as an audio recorder. There are all kinds of microphones available. This is an old Google Nexus phone. I also have an old iPhone 3GS, I think, and that's what this mic is for. I didn't find it when I was digging through my old phones, So I'm just showing you this. This mic being for such an old version of the iPod Touch, or actually you can use an iPod Touch as well, or the old iPhones. I think this microphone cost me $4. And it's very similar to the one on the test cam. And if you have a few more bucks laying around, you could also pick up a Zoom H1 is a very nice, inexpensive audio recorder for capturing EVPs. So is the Tascam DR05. Both of those retail new for about $90. Buy them used probably for $30 or $40. I'm actually eyeballing the higher end Tascam to go right on the camera, and that would be the DR60D, and I think they're about $170, but they screw right to the bottom of the camera, and that's quite nice, and it also has a mount for a tripod. Now let's talk about cameras. You can go insane with cameras and spend a fortune, but there's really not any need for doing that. I'm filming this right now with a 4K camera, and 4K is getting to be fairly ubiquitous on YouTube, and Netflix has certain programs that are in 4K. I believe Amazon Prime has some 4K programming, so it's the future. And 6K cameras are already being made, and 8K is on the horizon, even though 4K TVs still haven't really taken off yet. Anyway, one camera you can consider is this little beastie. This is the Panasonic DMC G7. It's got a nice flip-out screen, interchangeable lenses, and it's a micro four thirds sensor. This is a Sigma lens. This is not the lens that comes with it, the kit lens. The kit lens that comes with this is the 14 to 42 millimeter, and that gives, because of the 2x crop value, it gives you the equivalent of a 28 to 84 millimeter lens, as if it was on a 35 millimeter or a full frame sensor. This cannot shoot in the dark, and to convert this to full spectrum is a lot of trouble, but for filming interviews and B-roll and things like that, this shoots in 4K. They're under $600 brand new, and because of the way camera companies churn out new models constantly, who knows, a few more months that camera may be $400 brand new. So, and if you have some money left over after buying all this equipment, consider picking up something like this. What is this, you ask? This is the Feiyu G3 motorized gimbal. Essentially, you put your GoPro in here, and these three giant motors keep it rock steady as you're walking or running, as the case may be. And it's all different modes. It's got a USB port here for updating it. These are not really terrifyingly expensive. They're about $200. There's a newer version that doesn't have this ribbon cable on it. That's the G4. This ribbon cable is internal, which is a nice thing. So, something to consider. Because when you're walking, you don't want the shaky cam. This will stop shaky cam to a large extent, because the gyros and motors in this keep everything nice and stable. So, those are a few items you can look at. Again, the sky is the limit. You could, if you had the money, pick up for a camera an Arri Alexa, which is what many of the Academy Award winning films are shot on, or quite a few of the television shows that we watch are shot with. But that's an exorbitantly expensive camera. if you drop that camera, I hope you have insurance. So that's about it. Those are a couple of items you can use. Always get permission if you're going onto private property. Get permission. Find out if there's any bad floorboards or so forth. Anything that's dangerous that you can avoid. Have a good time. Happy hunting. See you in the next video. Bye for now. Onagi wahi.